Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hey, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You've chosen wisely. You know the websites, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. If you like a determiner, FamilyPetAncestry.com. If you like a weird URL that leads you to JackieCation.com. The credits. Mike Rickberg composed and sang that song you just heard. He sang it with his wife, Sarah Cohen. He will sing his words to the Mexican hat dance at the end of the program. Vilmos fixes the website, JackieCation.com, and Patrick Brady's going to fix this audio. There are many different ways to support the Dork Forest. There are now a couple of ads a month on the Dork Forest, so be warned. You're going to be advertised at. If you want to support the show in other ways, the easiest way is to, when you order something from Amazon, use the Amazon banner or link on dorkforest.com or JackieCation.com. Just takes you to Amazon. You order like normal. Doesn't cost you extra. It's just another way to support the show because they know that you came from my website. So there you go. Other than that, you can get premium episodes. If you're done with all the episodes, you can get premium episodes at thedorkforest.bandcamp.com. There's probably a dozen live episodes. The live episodes, they cost me a couple of bucks, so I charge you a couple of bucks. So if you just want free ones, there's at least 600. You can just donate directly to the Dork Forest. There's a donation button on dorkforest.com or JackieCation.com. That's a PayPal link. You can also Venmo me if that's your jam. Jackie at JackieCation is my email address if you ever need to email me for anything. And the donation button, I haven't made it super easy for you to donate monthly, but you could. You could donate $10 a month because I ask that you don't donate in November and December and instead give to a food bank or something. But I think PayPal has actually set up a monthly thing where you could just do it. I haven't even had to do anything. So I think you could just do it that way yourself. I usually, if you want to be a super fan, donate $100 a year. Or if you can't afford it, seriously, do not sweat it. Now, if you want to fly your Dork Forest flag, please do. There's a couple of Dork Forest t-shirts at JackieCation.com on the merch page. In addition to all of my comedy information, you can get CDs, my DVD, you can watch videos. The Dork Forest t-shirts are Ranger of the Dork Forest or the Dork Forest logo t-shirts. And all the shirts are union made here in the United States of America because things should be made by people who have dental care, in my opinion. So you can get those shirts, but know that they're union made by Americans, so they run a little big. Shipping is included with all of your purchases. There are also a couple of new enamel pins that are not on the website. You have to email me and ask me where to get them. From me. That's how you do it. But you have to email me and tell me that, and I'll talk to you about it. Stand-up comedy-wise, my schedule is on JackieCation.com. This week, I am working with Maria in Michigan and then Salt Lake City. You can go to JackieCation.com, click on the calendar, look for your city. And if I'm not in there, by God, recommend me to your local comedy club, because I will come and do your local comedy club if you have a local comedy club, and arrangements can be made. Enough with the intro. Let's get into the dorkdoms. Hey, it's Jackie Cation. I'm in my stateroom, you guys. I have a stateroom. I think they're all called staterooms. Joko Cruise, 2018. Welcome to the program, Erica Burns.
Hi, Jackie. How are you?
I am good. We will talk.
I am having a blast on this cruise. If anybody is looking to cruise for the first time, I highly recommend this as a first cruise. It is my first cruise.
You are wearing a Star Trek uniform shirt, and so you've already won
yes,
whatever battle.
This is the third time I've worn it on this cruise. I've worn it for Cosplay Day.
Yep.
And also on Space Day.
Space Day.
And today's Pajama Day.
So today's Pajama Day. There you go. Because, yes, I did not wear any my pajamas. I have essentially, Laura Silverman gave me a pair of boxer briefs that have the word feminist printed on the back of them. But I can't wear boxer briefs in public. Can't possibly. Nobody wants to see that.
No, but do you have any hotel art that you're going to share later? No, that is a lovely.
It's an urn and a vase,
a water thing
with. It's like a pitcher and a vase full of flowers. That will be hotel art that I don't think I uploaded because
we're on a boat.
We're on a boat. and the cellular data is prohibitively expensive, which is absurd.
Which is a good thing, I think.
Yes, which is fine. It just means that we don't have to hear the daily nightmare that is the United States of
I am
America.
purposely staying off the TV, but my husband, I walk in at night and I'm like, God damn it, he's watching MSNBC. And
is there MSNBC on that thing?
Yeah.
I've only watched America's Test Kitchen.
I don't blame you. That
Season 17.
I haven't watched any television.
It's and only because I was super tired one night and Andy went to Loretto for the concert.
Right.
I did not. I stayed here and watched 3 episodes of America's Test Kitchen, enjoying every moment, quite honestly, and then fell asleep early. Woke up early.
You didn't see the person who, there was a guest on the podcast that worked for America's Test Kitchen, wasn't? Was it this podcast?
No.
Oh, it was another one. I listen to a lot of podcasts.
Do you?
I do.
That could have been your dorkdom, but it is not.
No.
We are already 2 minutes into this quality program.
Awesome.
Let us discuss, Erica Burns, first of all, your online presence.
Yes.
If someone were to want to follow you on the Twitter, they would go to Blonde Chick 80.
Yeah.
Blonde with an E.
Yes.
BLONDECHICK.
Yeah, I always have
80.
to specify because a lot of people don't use the E.
Right. It feels very British. It feels
I am
European.
Scottish.
Are you Scottish?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. We are, so you picked essentially a lot of series of books.
Yes, I love book series because I'm always sad at the end if I read a really great book and there's no more book.
Oh, right. You don't like the finite one story kind of situation?
No.
Have you got to see any of N.K. Jemisin here on
No.
this cruise? N.K. Jemisin, Nora Jemisin, won the Hugo 2 years in a row here on this program. And get this, she wrote all 3 books and then published.
Oh.
So she wrote a series, but didn't publish until she was done fucking writing the series.
That is brilliant.
God love her. Because with the books that you've suggested,
Yeah.
these are sort of monster of the week.
Yeah.
These are very much episodic, and so you're fine.
Yeah.
You're like, I would like there to be another one.
Yeah.
But a science fiction series, she's written fantasy.
Oh. I'm not familiar with her work at all. So.
The Broken Earth trilogy is the one I'm reading.
Oh.
And I read the first one, and I own the other 2, and I'm going to read them. But and she won the Hugo 2 years in a row.
Oh my gosh.
She's great. Anyway, so, but you went with, now, I have read a couple of these series.
Yeah.
But I have not read all of these series.
Okay.
Including this first one, the Harry Bosch series,
Yeah.
written by Michael
Connelly.
Connelly. And are they thrillers? Are they mysteries?
He's a police officer in LA.
Okay.
And a lot of it is set in Hollywood division. So when Maria does her bit, like the Hollywood with the Planned Parenthood, I just
right.
die. Because I learn a lot about what I know about LA. I know about from these Harry Bosch
from
books.
the Harry Bosch books.
Yeah.
How long has he been writing them?
Oh, like 20-something years. A long
he's
time.
in. Michael
Long time.
Connelly's been in for the duration here.
Yeah.
I've seen them in airports.
Worth it.
And totally fun. And it's LA cops.
Yeah.
It's
It's
an
all
L-
set in LA.
And it's murder? Is it murdery?
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
always murdery? It's not like he's not doing
He's not murdering.
thievery.
He's on the good side.
He's solving the murders.
He's solving them, but sometimes his morals are a little questionable and he gets in trouble.
Oh. Is he a loose cannon?
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes, he's a great loose cannon. He, so Harry Bosch, he's in the current iteration of where we are now in the
Are there
series.
literally like more than 10 of them?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
There's
probably
many.
20.
There's maybe 20.
Right. Just like with the Jack Reacher books. There's like
Right.
a ton of books.
Yeah.
So if you have a long break from life.
Right. Or if you need to check out for,
Yeah.
what are we talking about here? Are they, because the Jack Reacher novels will take me probably 2 to 3 days to read them.
I don't know. Because I say I don't know. Because I audiobook.
Oh, it's mostly audio.
Yeah.
Is it the same guy reading them?
Yeah.
Who's reading them?
Dick Hill.
Dick Hill.
Yes.
Dick
Yeah.
Hill.
Yeah.
All right.
He is fantastic. So I got into Bosch when I graduated high school. Mm-hmm. Well, I got into the genre in sophomore English.
Okay.
My English teacher, we read, And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie.
Okay.
I couldn't put it down. It's the first book I've read for school.
Okay.
I couldn't stop reading.
Fair enough.
Because I hated reading before that. Because I
Oh.
never liked the books. Right?
Right.
And so that's how I got into mysteries and stuff. And as I was graduating, I had her for 2 years. Her name's Debbie Hodgman.
Thank you, Debbie Hodgman.
Yeah. Oh,
Mrs.
She's
Hodgman.
now
Ms. Hodgman.
Anastasia. She got divorced. Whatever. She's
Yeah.
fantastic. She was great.
Excellent.
And
Wait, so where are you from?
Cape Cod.
Oh, the Cape?
Yeah.
Hyannis or
Well,
P-Town?
not actually. I'm from the mainland in the armpit.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah,
so
from
right
Wareham.
before the Cape.
Yeah.
There you go. But if you were to want to go to the Cape and get yourself some Wellfleet oysters or some,
I don't eat seafood.
You don't need
No.
what has the bellies? Clams? Yeah. Have
No.
you ever been to hey, where you going? I'm going to Thompson's Clam Bar.
No, because I don't eat
that's
seafood.
where the tastiest clams are.
No.
Is the seafood good? It's great by far. It's
The jingle.
I know the jingle is what I'm saying.
From when you were in P-Town?
When I was in P-Town. When I worked at a hot dog stand in P-Town. So they have
Was there
hot
money
dogs.
in the stand?
There was no money in the hot dog
Like the
stand.
banana stand?
In the banana stand, there's unlike the banana stand, there was no money in the hot dog stand. I believe it was on McMillan Wharf, and I believe it burned down. And then I worked there, and I worked at who was Pinocchio's dad? Geppetto.
Yeah.
I worked at a pizza place called Geppetto's.
Oh.
In Truro.
I've only
So-
been out that way one time.
Really?
Yeah. As a local, you don't do tourist stuff.
It's so true. I've barely been to Griffith Park in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah,
but I understand there's a very nice observatory.
And
up there.
unfortunately, with the Cape, the nicest time to do things is when the tourists are in town.
And you're like, I'm not spending 3 hours on that 2-lane highway.
No, or trying to cross the bridge.
Right.
Because I was mainland. So
Right.
you always had to spend probably 3 hours to take a 20-minute, what would normally be a 20-minute drive.
Right. You could go late September, often very pretty.
Yes.
And after it's mostly closed.
Absolutely.
And there's only 2 things to do on the Cape because I stayed there till November the first year I
Yeah.
lived. And bars are the meetings. That's what I was told.
Heroin now, apparently.
What?
Heroin is another thing you can do.
Oh, and meth. It's available everywhere.
Well, there was an HBO special about the heroin epidemic on the Cape. It was
Oh.
really quite sad and devastating. But I
Heroin's
digress.
always going to be
Yeah.
sad. It's always because you don't
terrible.
want. Hey, here's a PSA, you guys. Heroin, super addictive. Rangers.
Yeah, don't start.
Don't start now because it's going to be hard to kick that habit. It's go get yourself a sandwich. It's
There
going to
you
be
go.
fun. And but Harry, I want to kind of. So Harry Bosch,
Yeah.
is he a detective?
Yes.
So he's not a beat cop.
No.
This is a detective.
He's a, what was it, 3rd grade or
What's the first one?
Black Ice or Black Echo? I get them mixed up.
Black Ice or Black Echo?
Yeah.
Okay.
My English teacher, I got so distracted talking
Yeah.
about the Cape. She recommended to me The Poet was the first book that I started, which is in the Harry Bosch world, but it's not a main story.
Okay.
So it's a good entry, and it's really creepy. And then I read it. That was the actual book that I read.
Okay.
And I couldn't stop with the series. I'm like, well, now shit. Now
This
I have
is
to
the
read.
best
I have to read all the books.
because you're a completist.
I am.
Okay, fair enough. So the Poet is. So what year is this?
Oh.
That you read The Poet? Was that a new one?
98.
It was in 98.
And I was like a year or two old, I think, then.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just a baby.
I was.
And
I was
so
a freshman in college.
And so it was a couple of years old. So it had been
Yeah.
written in sort of the mid 90s or late 90s.
Yes, I would say so.
So she started because the mysteries that I read
Yeah.
that got me into mysteries would have been the Spencer for Hire novels.
I've heard about
which
those.
is everything I know about Boston.
Right.
Is because of the Spencer for Hire novels.
I only heard about those from your podcast.
Well, and everything I know about Spencer for Hire novels, Boston, is set in the late 70s.
Okay.
So, guess what's been gentrified? Most of Boston. So, I probably shouldn't be able to find my way around the world with a Spencer for Hire novel.
Yeah.
So Harry Bosch, where did he come from? What's his ancestry? Like,
He, because
I'm sure he has a
mother was
troubled
a
past.
prostitute.
oh yeah,
And
troubled
then she
past.
got killed. So his like life mission is,
justice.
yeah.
Or vengeance.
I have his quote in my email. Everyone counts or nobody counts is his like life
That's his motto.
Yeah, because if you don't care about the murders of the prostitutes, then who are the lower people in the totem pole,
Right.
Then it
How
doesn't
you
matter.
going to care about the CEO?
Yeah.
Right. When Richie Rich dies, someone should look into it.
Right.
Yeah. So,
He spent his youth in a youth home or in
foster care
Yeah,
or
not foster care.
orphanage.
I would say an orphanage, but he says like a youth home.
Okay.
Yeah.
So okay.
I don't think he was
I
ever.
wonder if
adopted.
Michael Colony spent his youth in a youth
He's
home.
his history is that he wrote for the LA Times
Okay.
in the crime beat.
Okay. So he was a journalist.
Yeah.
Did you ever read? Yeah, because there's some old mysteries Like if you like the Agatha Christie, Daniel Dad Lewis. Daniel Day Lewis's dad, whose name was Cecil Day Lewis, wrote a bunch of mysteries in the late 30s, early 40s. And then he became the poet laureate of Great Britain.
Oh.
Yes. So Daniel Dad Lewis
I like
has
to call him
written...
Dad.
Yeah, Mike Kaplan named him Daniel Dad Lewis because I was reading his books. And I said, he's Daniel Day Lewis's dad. And Mike Kaplan is a bit of a wordsmith.
Right.
And so he said, Daniel Dad Lewis? And then I
Perfect.
laughed and laughed. And I've been repeating that joke for these many years.
And you're smiling, so it still makes you laugh.
Still makes me laugh. Totally. So, what would you say? Should people start with the poet? Should people start with the current one?
Oh. You can actually read them out of order, and it's not a huge deal, which
Okay.
is great.
Is he always 34 years old? in
No,
these
he
things?
ages, and so right now he's actually retired, and he has gone back and done cold cases.
Okay.
And now, in the most recent book I read, I think is it The Midnight Line? I may not have read that one yet, because here's the other thing about my audiobooks.
Yeah.
I kind of cheat, and I get them from the library.
Oh, no, that's not cheating. That's the purpose
From
of the
Overdrive.
library. Yeah.
And here's a pro tip for people who do listen to audiobooks is that if you listen to audiobooks on a non-smart device, like a little Sansa clip, and you transfer it over, they don't expire. So when you reserve a book and you're like, well, crap, there's 20 people on the waiting list. I don't know when I'm going to get it.
Yeah.
So often I get like 4 books at once. Put them on my MP3 player. I just listen to them when they won't expire after the 2 weeks.
Oh, because you're not downloading it to your
app.
phone.
You're not using the app. The app will make the book expire.
And so you literally then own the audiobook, essentially.
Yeah. You're supposed to delete it.
Yeah, and you do. Because how much?
Sometimes.
Right.
Because I like to re-listen. And the wait lists on a lot of these books are very long.
Right. And who doesn't want to re-listen? Yeah. Because I like to re-listen to books.
I do too.
Yeah. It's
Especially
it's
Dick
soothing.
Hill. He is fantastic as a reader.
Oh, Dick Hill.
Yeah.
Have you listened to anything else he's
The
read?
Jack Reacher.
He does the Jack Reachers as well?
That's how I got into Jack Reacher, because I ran out of Michael Connelly books.
Okay.
And I wanted more series. So when you're on Overdrive, you can click the audiobook person's name and see all the work that they've done.
Oh, that's nice too.
Yeah.
That's perfect. Good. That's hilarious. so Harry Bosch books.
Yeah.
There's maybe 20 or 30
Somewhere
or
in
whatever.
there. Not
There's
quite
1
30.
million.
Yeah, a ton.
There's a ton. So and each book is what, 15 hours or longer?
Yeah, about 15. They're longer audiobooks.
And so that's kind of great.
Yeah.
Because you don't want it to be too short, because
Right.
then you got to get a new one immediately.
Right.
But my brother
I do a
likes
lot
it.
of driving for work, so I can crank out one of these books in probably a day or two.
There you go. Because
It sucks that I drive that much, but
Yeah.
it's great because I don't have to put down the book.
Right, because you could just listen to it.
Yeah.
And then, my brother likes a 26-hour book.
Oh.
That's too long.
If he wants a longer book and likes romance, he should go for Outlander.
I think he's listened to the Outlander for
They're
a
like
long time.
40 hours.
I was in, we used to share his Audible account, and then Amazon
That's
bought.
cheating.
Well, no, because it's like Netflix.
Oh.
It's okay. You
users.
could do a family thing.
Oh.
Yeah. You can
I
have,
don't know.
you can
I'm
have
too cheap to get Audible.
Right. Well, yeah. You can share your account with up to like 3 devices, 3
Oh.
different family members or something.
that's
like that.
awesome.
Yeah. But for some reason, when Amazon bought Audible, they will not let me log into my brother's Audible account
Oh.
anymore. I have gotten some free credits because I've done some work
Yeah.
for Audible, and they've paid me
Yeah.
in credits,
Oh.
and a small amount of money. Good for them. And so
They can
there's-
afford it.
Yeah, there's been some money, and there's also been some credits, and I haven't used any of my credits because the credits feel finite, and I panic that I'm going to run out of credits, and then I'm going to have to buy credits.
Did you know that I think it's Audible, they do podcasts, but they're only available on Audible?
Right.
And I
But
think-
they're also available now on Amazon Prime.
Oh, are they?
Yes.
Well, because the other thing with Harry Bosch is there's a TV show on Amazon Prime. They have 2 seasons under the belt. They're working on the 3rd one, and they're blending a couple books that are related, because there's several books where the stories are sort of related. in the same-
Intersectional? Okay.
Yeah. Same characters or same area of town in LA. And so the first season is Concrete Blonde, and I think someone's going to be yelling at their car. Probably Trunk Music. I know Trunk Music's in one of them.
Okay.
But it's a
But
really
so there's
great
2 seasons.
so far, and they're working
And how many episodes are in a season? Like 6 or
10 or 11 because
Oh,
they're
nice.
an hour. yeah.
Okay.
And it's free Prime. So if you have Prime, you can watch them for free.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's included in the Prime TV thing.
Yeah. And Titus Welliver plays Harry Bosch. And there's an actor who plays his partner, Jerry Edgar. He was on The Wire. I was like watching The Wire because I haven't seen The Wire. So I've been watching it and I'm like, oh, that's the guy from The Affair, and that's the guy from Bosch, and that's,
Right. Everybody's working.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's plenty of work for actors, which is amazing. And, okay, well, so Harry Bosch, he's been writing him since the 90s.
Yeah.
And Michael Connelly, at least. And, and so he has a partner, and is the partner a big part of it, too?
Yeah, so in the earlier books, he has two partners, Kis Ryder and Jerry Edgar. And then throughout the series, his partners change a little bit, and Kis goes off. She ends up falling in love with the captain or the LT, or I forget. There's a scandal of some sort. And his nemesis is Irving, who's an
like a serial killer or something?
No. He's the head police.
A commissioner?
I don't know if it's commissioner. I'm drawing a blank.
His name's Irving?
Yeah.
That's
and
hilarious.
He's like Mr. Clean. So he's like bald.
Oh, okay. He kind of seems like that's how he's described.
Yeah, and
okay.
Yeah, they end up friendly in a couple of the books, which is weird because that's like his nemesis. He's tried to get Harry fired several times.
Because Harry's a loose cannon.
Yeah.
So morally ambiguous is what I'm told about Harry.
But he's always on the good side. Like, he does it for good.
Okay. So he's always chosen poorly.
Right.
He's going to be judge, jury, and executioner, but that's a bad guy.
Right. Because there are times, he'll go into a situation without his partner. Oh, you should have had your partner. Mm-hmm. And he's like, but it was the moment.
Yeah, we had to live in the moment.
Yeah.
And okay. Well, that's kind of fascinating. And then from that, you went to the Jack Reacher novels.
Correct.
And now I have read 6 Jack Reacher novels.
Okay.
They all seem pretty comparable.
Yeah.
And he always knows what direction everybody went in.
Right.
That's my favorite.
He's very smart.
He's super smart. It's almost like a bloodhound because, you're on a deserted highway and the child kidnappers have picked a direction and you rationalize which way they go.
Yeah.
Or you're in a very dense populated area in New York City,
right?
And you're like, I bet you they're in that building.
He's going to be drinking coffee, watching something fishy happening.
Right. Oh, that guy.
I just listened to that one not that long ago.
Right. The one where he's in New York?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He's just trying to mind his own business.
Right.
That's the thing about Jack Reacher.
And he always in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or maybe it's the right place.
Well, it's the right place for the bad guy, for the good guys.
Yeah.
Because I think the last one I read, he was kidnapped with some FBI agent lady.
Oh, and they were riding in the mattresses in the back of the truck.
Yep.
Oh, that's Die Trying, I think. And was that the little Nazi camp?
Yes.
That was
the
a little
Nazi
too
camp.
real. Because I started at the last year. I just yelled. I'm sorry.
No worries.
I started a re-listen of the Reacher series chronological order because he does have a habit of writing some stories out of order as prequels.
Yes.
So I started, except for some of the shorter stories that he has because they're not on audiobook.
Okay.
And and then my library decided to not have a couple of the main novels available, and I'm like, well, shit. Because I couldn't listen to Tripwire, which is my favorite. That's book 3.
Right. I read Tripwire.
With Hook Hobie as the bad guy. And I think it's my favorite because the voice Dick Hill gives to Hook Hobie is just a little creepy.
Oh, nice.
And it just makes the story that much better.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But Die Trying, after I read it, I'm like, that's too close to home right here.
Oh, right. There's some trouble. There's some trouble with, I think I had to stop reading that, and I had to stop reading Daniel Dad Lewis. No, it was Helen McCarthy. That's why I had to stop reading. She also wrote some spy and mystery novels. She wrote them in the late 30s, 1943. Oh. She's writing about Nazis, and I was like, she's writing it in 41 and 43, and she's writing about Nazis. And then she writes one in the 60s. 4 of her books got turned into movies.
Oh.
I feel like they all should have starred Fred MacMurray and Ed Asner, but they didn't. And but they were kind of noir-y, and the 3 or 4 that I read that were set, and they were essentially the founding of Nazi Germany.
Right.
And I was like, nope, not at this time. And then
it's just too real. It's
too
much.
Real. And then the later ones were Soviet spy ones. And I'm like, nope, too real. So I read probably 5 or 6 Ellen McCarthy books, and I was like, oh, these are great. Can't do it. And then she also wrote a couple of romance novels.
Okay.
That were the most sad sack fucking romance novels that I've ever read in my life.
That's not what you want in a romance novel.
No. I was like, I know you're writing this in 1941 and you're living through the bombing of London, but you genuinely have to cheer this up.
You need a little hope in there.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard to write hope when you're living in the middle of history. And the history
like now.
is exactly. So you have to you wonder about it, right?
Right.
Because like are there Jack Reacher novels and Harry Bosch novels that they're writing right now that they're like, how do I not make this about us losing?
Right.
But the good news about history and about bad guys is that eventually the bad guys lose. In life.
Right.
They genuinely do. Sometimes they die of old age, and that's sad. But they do eventually pass.
I'm not sure if that would be sad.
No, it's sad that was nobody, that essentially Jack Reacher doesn't headbutt them to death.
Oh,
is
yeah.
what I'm sad
Right,
about.
and everything I know about fighting and guns, I've learned from Jack Reacher, which is not a good way to be.
Right, because
like I know that I should elbow people, and I should hit them in the forehead with my forehead, because it's the hardest bones or something, or the arc.
And you never want to do a fist with your thumb on the inside, right? Thumb on the inside, you're going to break your thumb.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's only children who make fists like that.
Yeah,
because
maybe.
eventually you're taught right away, loosen up that thumb.
Yeah.
And then punch
this is just uncomfortable.
That really feels uncomfortable at this point. So, So now, Jack Reacher novels, now he's been writing those since the early 90s, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By Lee Child.
By Lee Child, that's right.
He's British, which I find
Is
interesting.
he?
Yeah. And Lee Child's not his real name. Don't ask me what his real name is. I don't know what
But
it
his
is.
real name isn't Lee Child.
Correct.
Well, that's fascinating. I did not know that either.
He also, if you've watched the Jack Reacher movies, which I'll give him 3 stars.
I like the first. I didn't mind the first one, though. Of course,
They're not great adaptations, and I think they would be better adapted if they were a TV series, because there's just so much material.
right.
And but they're movies, so there's not enough storyline. And with the did you watch the second movie?
Maybe.
Never Go Back.
Never Go Back. Oh, I think that
It starts
might be the
out
only
with
one I
Tom
remember.
Cruise in like the diner, and then the police come after him, and he like fights a bunch of people in the parking lot.
That's the only one I've seen, and I didn't mind that one.
No.
Is
Well-
the first one better? I heard the first one was better.
You know what? They're both mediocre.
Right.
Equally mediocre.
Equally mediocre.
In the sense they're not great adaptations. So in the second movie, they started. Oh God, there's a 4-book story arc starting. I think with not Never Go Back. I'm in the middle of it now. And
Is the one with his love interest with the Colonel?
yeah.
Okay.
So it's the book I'm listening to right now is where he has the phone relationship with her, because he just talks to her. He likes her voice.
Yes.
And so that sort of pans out over 4 books before, or 3 or 4 books before he finally gets to meet her, and he goes to Virginia.
Oh, right. Well, and wait, hadn't he knew her when she was like 15 or something?
No.
Oh, wait, I thought it was his...
You're thinking of Jodie?
I'm thinking of the Colonel's daughter.
Oh, that's different. That's Garber's daughter, Jodie.
Okay, Garwood.
Garber.
Garber.
I think it's Garber. I only listen to the audiobook, so I get a lot of spelling of names wrong.
Right. Okay, so he was an MP.
Yes.
Jack Reacher.
Yes.
And he had a sort of a father figure who was also his colonel.
Leon Garber.
Leon Garber. Sounds about right.
Yeah.
And then he had a daughter who was like 15.
Jodie.
Who became a lawyer.
Yes.
A fancy
And
pants
there's
New
a
York
book or
lawyer.
two where there's one book for sure where they're like dating and seeing each other, and they're in New York.
Yeah.
And that must be in Tripwire, because I missed that storyline when I got to the following book. I was like, I missed, that's such a good storyline.
And because the dad left him
The house.
a house.
After he died.
Was it in northern New York or was it outside of D.C.?
It was in New York.
Okay. And he ends up selling it and
Because he
putting...
doesn't like to be settled down.
Right, he just wants his ATM card.
Yeah, and his passport expired.
Expired passport?
Yeah,
Okay.
and toothbrush. That's all he travels with. Expired passport,
Yeah.
toothbrush,
ATM card.
ATM card. Well, now an ATM card. In the earlier books, he doesn't have the ATM card.
Right. Because the ATM card, it's got an RFID chip. They can find him because he's got to use an ATM card. He's
Right.
got to use an ATM.
And then he gets
Interesting.
his retirement money automatically deposited into his bank account. Mm-hmm. So in Virginia,
He's got a pension
right?
because he was in the service.
He was in the
He was an MP. Was he a Navy
he was in
guy?
the Gulf War. No, he's Army.
Army guy.
Yeah.
Okay, I forget. And All I remember is, I remember thinking about that because he had to go with an ATM card. But what was he doing before that? Was he writing checks at Western Union?
I know he was doing phone transfers. Maybe
okay.
Doing
which
wires.
Were also traceable.
Doing wires, yeah.
As traceable as an ATM card.
Right.
So, because I think the implication was that he wanted to be off the grid.
But he also did like odd jobs. Like he was a bouncer in one book for a bar.
Right.
And when there was the one where he was in the Florida Keys in Key West.
That's right.
And he was like digging holes or something. They talked about his jacked muscles and his tan skin from digging. I think he was digging, was it cemetery?
Now, do you, what I've noticed is he usually gets laid around page 440.
Right.
And, do you think that's, well, now wait, you're listening to the Audible.
Yeah.
So you're 14 hours in. So what's page 440? That's got to be at least 11 hours in.
I would say 2/3.
Yeah.
2/3 of the book. And what's interesting about back to this 4-book story arc is he wrote 2 books in that story arc, decided to go, you know what, I need a prequel, which he wrote The Affair. I think it was The Affair. It's anyway, where he's like, Jack needs to get laid. Because I saw an interview with Lee, and he's like, I wrote this prequel because I couldn't have 3 books where he didn't get laid.
Oh, right. Yeah. Which is so funny because whenever anybody makes fun of a romance novel, I'm like, no, Jack Reacher novels. Guy gets laid.
Right.
And in a lot of romance novels, the woman just gets laid once, too.
Right.
And, though not the good ones. There's some good ones. She gets laid good 2 or 3 times.
Right.
So, check that out. You know, I was feeling bad about my tantric sex joke.
Right.
Because, that book that joke is about is a Lisa Kleypas book.
Okay.
Kleypas.
Did she tweet at you or something?
Well, she's on Twitter, and
dear.
somebody, because I did the joke on Two Dope Queens on HBO.
Okay.
And so somebody said, I've read that book, and tagged Lisa Kleypas. But I realized in the joke, I do that old school thing where I make fun of romance novels in the joke, in the setup.
But you love romance novels.
But I love romance novels, but why would she, and she never responded to that tweet, because why would she? Because I said, poorly written, poorly researched. Which, she's got to think, hey, I spent 3 months writing that book. Fuck you. Which, quite honestly, I don't begrudge her that. I don't blame her. And I may need to adjust how I pitch that joke.
Right.
Because who's reading them? I am. Are they? And some of them are better written than other books. And actually, the current Lisa Kleypas books that she's written are actually really well written. As far as they're pulp novels, and she's got to crank them out. But they're funny.
Right.
They're smart. They're interesting, and quite honestly, the sex scenes are outstanding.
Oh, good.
Well played, Lisa Kleypas.
Yeah.
So as we discussed,
the
pulp
sex
novels,
scenes in Outlander are really good too.
Are they? I have tried. Yeah. I've tried to read Outlander, and I've tried to watch the TV show. I like the costumes.
You don't like the costumes?
I love the costumes.
Oh, okay.
But that was all I liked. Because here's the thing about Outlander. It is a nesting doll of time travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, well, why don't we follow her in World War II? Why do we got to go back to Scotland? Is she getting laid in World War II? Those are cool outfits.
She looks, okay, so the actress who plays Claire in the TV show is Katrina Balfe.
Right.
She is beautiful. As she's an Irish actress, model.
Okay.
So, of course, she's beautiful. Mm-hmm. And she can pull off the 1940s look, the 60s look, the 18th century looks, both Scottish and French, and now season 3's in America, in the colonies.
Oh, is it? Wait a minute.
Did I go too fast for your notes?
A little bit, but wait a minute. Wait, the colonies?
Yeah.
Wait, so she's old-timey Scotland.
Yeah.
Let us
Back
if
up.
you have not read Outlander, who wrote Outlander?
Oh, Diana Gabaldon.
There's an announcement coming
On the cruise.
from the
Might be Principal
the,
Saborin.
It is the captain. I'm going to stop this briefly.
Okay.
My ad. I'm about to do an ad. Hey guys, it's Jackie Cation with an ad. Do you wear contact lenses? I recently tried an app called Simple Contacts, and it saves time and money on ordering contact lenses. So I'm going to share this with you because you can get a deal on the first order. If you wear contacts, you probably dread the annual eye appointment to renew your prescription. Well, Simple Contacts brings the doctor to you. You can take the vision test at home in under 5 minutes, and then a real doctor reviews your test and writes you a new prescription. Simple Contacts offers every brand of lenses. Their prices are unbeatable, quite honestly. It's over the internet. You get them delivered to your door. And Rangers also get $30 off their first Simple Contacts order with the code DORKFOREST. To save $30 on your lenses, go to simplecontacts.com/dorkforest or enter the code dorkforest at checkout. So reorder your contact lenses through Simple Contacts. Go to simplecontacts.com/dorkforest or enter the code dorkforest at checkout. Give that a try and you'll find out how easy and inexpensive it is. Let's get back into the show. Welcome back on the Joko Cruise, you guys. Had to take a quick break because the captain wanted to tell us how fast we were going in nautical whatevers. And here's the good news. I'm sure there's a nerd on this boat who gives a damn.
Right. And he also told us the weather.
Right, which is nice.
Because, well, you know what? We can see it, and it is lovely on the water today, or at least it is now. It was choppy this morning.
Right, we're out on the ocean. So here we go. Outlander, who wrote it?
Oh, Diana Gabaldon.
Gabaldon is a great name.
Gabaldon, some people say. I'm not quite sure which one is correct.
Gabaldon.
She lives in the Southwest, I think in Arizona.
Arizona author.
Yeah. And her son,
Sweet.
Sam Sykes, is an author, too. Some people, he writes
What does he write?
Fantasy stuff, also.
Oh, okay. Kind of sci-fi
He's on Twitter
fantasy?
also, yeah.
Okay. So Gabaldon is writing Outlander.
Yeah.
The story of Outlander is about a nurse, not Ratchet, more of a nightingale.
She was World War II.
World War II.
Sorry.
Is it?
It's one, yeah. Nurse, I think. Because it was the 40s? Was it the 40s? That's
the 40s is two.
Two, yeah.
So she's World War II nurse. Falls, knocks her head?
No. She and her husband, Frank, are on a holiday in Scotland after the war is over, and they're trying to, like, rekindle, because he was off fighting, and she was in the nurse, so they were separated for those years. And so she goes, they're seeing the sights. They're outside of Inverness.
So they're on vacation in Scotland in 1945.
Yeah.
1946.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're driving along, and the short
version.
Yeah. They go to these standing stones, and they're like, oh, these are beautiful. It's called Craignadoon, which if you go to actually Scotland, there are no standing stones there on that hill. But
you seem a little peeved by that.
Well, I'm disappointed because I had no idea until they show, like, this is the scenes where they're filming, and I'm like, there's no stones there.
Right. They could have found a bunch of stones. There's stones all over that area.
Right, but she decided to write them in.
Fair enough. Well, then, because they're magical somehow.
Yeah, on the feast days. So, like, Samhain and whatever, people are yelling these holidays at me. I can tell.
Yes.
They're Celtic or
Scottish,
Jewish, I don't know.
Right? So, old-timey feast day holiday.
Yeah.
They walk into the middle of the circle.
Well, she does. She wanders off to, like, collect flowers and herbs because she does, like, herbal stuff, and she's into medicine.
Okay, because she's a nurse, but she's also old-timey hippie-skippy lady.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so she was picking flowers, and she accidentally time-traveled.
Leaving her husband who has PTSD. That's why I stopped reading this book. What's happening? So she bails
Frank
on...
seems okay. And what we find out about Frank, like, he's not punching anybody in his sleep, so that's good.
Well, that's good. That's nice.
Yeah.
It's, so essentially, she goes back in time. She wakes up or comes to in Scotland. What year?
202 years before.
Okay, so 1945, 1845, 1745.
Yeah.
Middle of the 1700s.
Yeah.
Scotland.
Before the Battle of Culloden. Like, that's the big plot point for book one.
Okay.
Is approaching the Battle of Culloden.
What's the Battle of Culloden?
Oh, it was a big battle.
Did you find out?
Where the Scots fight the English, and the Scots lose, the English won. And then that's sort of after that is when they lose the ability to have guns and wear their kilts, talk Gaelic, and all these things that the Scottish people are known for.
Okay. So, essentially, it's a big battle that ends up causing a great deal of problems. And she probably knows.
Yeah.
Sort of like Final Countdown.
Right. So
she knows this is coming.
Yeah, she knows it's coming. In book 2, when they're in France, that is Dragonfly and Amber. They're trying to prevent Bonnie Prince Charlie. Like, they're trying to talk him out of going into this war because she's like, thousands of Scots are going to die. Mm-hmm. So,
it turns out monarchs don't care.
Yeah.
Monarchs don't care if thousands.
He's claiming to be the rightful king. He's not actually the king or prince.
Right.
So there's like a battle
He's an
there.
imposter.
Yeah.
I vaguely know that from a historical romance novel I read.
So Diana Gabaldon, when she writes these books, she does a lot of research. So they're like historical fiction with romance. They don't fit any one genre.
Okay.
But there are really great sexy times in there if you like sexy times.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I heard that there's good sexy times.
But there are some triggery events also.
Rapey. Yeah. I heard it was a little rapey.
Yeah.
And, but
it was the times, quote unquote.
It was a different time, you guys. It was back when dirtbags didn't know they weren't supposed to be dirtbags.
Yeah.
Turns out there were still decent men back there saying, I'm not going to rape this person.
Maybe not 75% of the people.
Right. But why? Oh, crying? I probably shouldn't fuck that. Anyway, let's not fuck the crying lady.
There's ladies walking in the street.
Loose ladies just getting to walk around like people.
God forbid.
But then she ends up hooking up with a dude, right?
Yeah,
Jamie. That's right. His name's Jamie.
Yeah.
And so what's her husband's name back in
the future?
In future time.
Is Frank Randall.
Frank. So, I mean, granted, she's if you go back in time, you haven't made the vows.
Yeah.
So is that the rationale? What's the rationale?
Well, when she gets married to Jamie?
Yeah.
Oh, she is kind of forced to marry Jamie to protect herself from being kidnapped.
Right. She has to marry somebody.
Yeah.
You need a dude.
Right.
To protect you.
Swinging the dick.
Right. The dick swinging. You got to hear that new bit. Good for you. And
I've heard that bit a couple of times because you talk about it in the Middle East, but I digress.
Oh, right. There you go. And so how many books are there in the Outlander series?
Oh, okay. The main series. There's 8 big books.
Okay.
And each big book is about 1,000 pages.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the audiobooks are 40-something hours. And Davina, I don't know her last name, reads them.
Okay.
And she's
a woman named Davina is the reader.
Yeah, everybody loves her, but people are going to hate me. I didn't love it. The first book I read is audiobook.
Yep.
I didn't love it. And I think partly because I missed one chapter, like I accidentally skipped a whole section.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. And it wasn't the voice I had for her in my head.
Right.
So that makes a difference, too.
Yeah. You have to sort of get used to whoever's reading it, because then you're like, oh, is this what's happening?
Right.
Like Jim Dale reads the Harry Potter books.
Okay.
But a different British guy reads the British version of the Harry Potter books.
Is he better?
I have tried to listen, and he's famouser. That's what we do know.
Famouser? More famous?
He's more famous. The British guy who reads the American version, so reads the word color without a U.
Okay.
And then the British guy who reads the British version and reads the word color with a U.
Right.
I can't remember who's reading it, but and we don't have the internet, you guys. So that's the way it goes.
So we're taking notes, but we're not looking anything.
So there's 8 main books.
Yes.
In the Outlander series.
She's writing her 9th one.
And she's writing her 9th one.
Right, and they take several years for her to write.
Fair enough, because she's got to do a lot of research. How long has she been in the past now?
Well,
like how long is each book? Is it a month?
Oh, no, years. Like the time span within a book is a long time.
Oh, okay.
And it varies. So in book 4, where I'm reading now, she skips like each chapter. It's like been a whole year. She like picks like one event that sort of happens that's important for the story, and she'll write about it. And then next thing you know, it's 4 months later in the next chapter.
Okay.
It's not all the books are like that, but this particular one is
right.
like that.
So how old is she when she comes from 46? From 1946?
I want to say 27, and James is 25, so he's younger.
Okay.
So that's why she has explained, Diana Gabaldon, that it's not a traditional romance because the woman is the one with the experience and Jamie is not.
Okay.
And Jamie's younger.
Okay. So he's like a virgin?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A 25-year-old male virgin in Scotland in 1746?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good for him. For keeping the promise ring going. So you're still in book 4.
Well, I've read the whole main series because I read the audiobook 1 when Felicia Day's Vaginal Fantasy group on Goodreads read it.
Yep.
And then I didn't pick up any other books because there were parts that were slow and I got bored with. And I'm like, I'm just not a fan of her wandering around looking for flowers for 60 pages. I'm sorry. Or whatever it is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know like a lot of the books have those moments where it's slow. Just chuck through it if you can. Skip pages if you need to.
Right, do some skimming
Yeah.
if you have to.
Yeah.
Because the main plot points are super fun.
Right, and there's multiple plot points throughout the book, which is awesome. She has a lot of B plots and C plots.
Oh, because of secondary characters and
Yeah.
stuff? Okay.
Yeah.
So because there's her and Jamie.
Right.
They have their lives.
Yes.
And then there's probably bad guys back in Scotland.
Yeah. Black Jack Randall.
Black Jack Randall.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Who is the ancestor to Frank Randall. Right, there's a lot of
playing it forward. Frank Randall's ancestor is Black Jack Randall.
Yeah,
excellent.
There's somebody, or I think in the Outlandish Companions, there's 2 volumes where they condense the stories. That's another way to go. If you want to get a baseline for the story, read the Outlandish Companions. She summarizes it, so you don't have to read 1,000 pages to get the story,
or 8,000 pages
or
at this
whatever.
point.
Yeah,
yeah.
And there's a family tree in there, and it's all fucked up.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. And now, does she ever, in any of these 8 books, go back to
the future?
Yeah.
Yeah. She does at the end of, I want to say, I think it's 2, like right at the Battle of Culloden is where season 2 ends.
Okay. The TV show.
Because she's pregnant and Jamie forces her to go back. She's in that book.
Oh, has she told Jamie that she is?
Spoilers.
Oh, this entire episode. I'm going to put that in the title.
Yeah.
Because
they lose a baby in France.
Okay.
She was probably 6 months pregnant. It was really devastating for them.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
That baby's name was Faith, and she's buried at the cemetery at the church where Claire volunteered at this hospital, and the hospital worked with like prostitutes or whatever.
And wait, and her name is Claire, the main character.
The main character is Claire.
Got it.
And
noting.
Yeah. So when at the Battle of Culloden, like right before it happens, Jamie's like, "You've missed your period for 2 months now." And she goes, "How did you know?" And because he's a man who cares, that's why.
Yes. That's my husband, too. He also cares. He's like, when are you going to get grumpy? No, he's not that. No. Anyway, so...
No, Andy is sweet. I can attest to that, listeners.
You got to meet him.
Several times, and he is a delight, just like Jackie says.
He is. And so... Oh, wait. So she goes back totally pregnant.
Yeah.
Does she go back? Like, when she goes back, back and forth in time, is she wearing new-timey clothes?
No.
She shows up in old-timey clothes.
Old-timey clothes. And there's a whole section where they question, like, how did she get these high-quality, authentic 18th century Scotland clothes? Well, I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah.
Will there be a huge reveal at the end of book 9? Does she say how many books there are?
She doesn't know when it's going to end yet. In that sense. So she'll still write the story as long as there's story to write.
If there's an end to this story, and we find out that this has all been a dream,
oh my God,
how angry will you be?
So angry, along with all the listeners.
What could be the reveal at the end of this thing? Like how it all works, or why there is time travel, or any of this stuff?
The time travel in the Outlander world seems to be genetic, because not everybody can time travel. Claire can time travel.
But no Frank. Frank cannot.
Frank cannot. Jamie cannot. There's like a buzzing you hear when you're at the Stones or whatever the travel location is. Her daughter can. So when she went back to the future and she was pregnant, she had that daughter, Brianna.
She had Jamie's daughter.
In the future.
In the future.
Yeah.
Holy hell.
Yeah, and then Frank had to help raise her. And Frank, we find out, couldn't have children. So it worked out.
Oh, because he always wanted kids.
He wanted kids but couldn't.
Right. And does he... So... Is Claire super honest with Jamie and Frank about how she's traveling through time?
Yeah. She tells...
And does anyone want to lock her up?
Yeah, when she comes back into the future, they're like, she's been kidnapped or something, and she's just
and
not
has she been
there.
Gone in real time?
Yeah.
From the future?
Yeah.
So Frank finds her, it's been a year or whatever.
2 or 3 years.
2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
And she's with child.
Yeah.
As they say sometimes
yes.
in the books. And he's like, so you clearly have been doing it
right
with others.
Yeah.
Or an other. And so wow, so it's all pretty much in real time.
Right. And then she comes back to the future, they move to Boston. Fresh start. Because Frank gets a job at a university. He's a historian. And that's where they raised Brianna, so Brianna's American. And I forgot what I was saying.
Anchor baby? Anchor baby? Does she have the kid here in the United States?
Yep.
Okay.
And I forgot where I was going with that storyline. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So, because I have a question.
Yeah.
I have another question.
Okay, go.
So now they're in the United States. It's 1949 or whatever. And Brianna is born. And nobody named their kid Brianna, by the way.
She was named after Jamie's father.
Oh, there you
go.
Brian. Oh, there you go.
That was the little promise they made before she went back into the Stones.
Because Jamie's like, you have to go back to the future?
Yeah, because he didn't want her, the baby, to die.
Was she gonna?
Well, considering the times, he was planning on dying on the field.
Oh, the battle. Mm-hmm. He was going to die in battle. Mm-hmm. And she was going to have childbirth in the 1700s. And he was like, this rarely works out.
And she had lost a baby. So she's high risk.
High risk pregnancy.
Yeah.
So she goes where they knock you out in 1949.
Yeah, she went to Twilight when she had the baby.
Yeah. And so now she leaves the baby. We're in book 3 now, probably.
I think so, yeah.
And
they all blend together because when I read book 2, I couldn't stop. So I started in book 2 before season 2 of the show started.
Yes.
It took me a year to read the 2 through 8.
Wow.
Plus a couple of the bulges. She had side stories of auxiliary characters.
From both times or just Scotland times?
Scotland times.
Okay. Now she's in Boston. Yeah. How does she get back to Scotland? How does she get back?
20 years later, she and Brianna and Frank live not happily necessarily in Boston for 20 years.
Right.
And so Frank dies. He's in a car accident. Or heart attack. In the show, he's a car accident. I feel like, God, people are hating
So now
me.
it's 66.
Yeah.
1966. And she's in her 40s.
Yeah, and she goes back to Scotland because I think there's like a memorial service for Frank. Mm-hmm. And where she had spent a lot of her time from book 1 before she time traveled with the Wakefields. Mm-hmm. And so she goes back there, and they do some research with Roger. He's another side character, ends up being Brianna's husband in the end. They time travel. So they find Jamie's still alive. He made it through the battle.
So they go back in time.
Well,
it's 20 years later.
Not quite. They don't go back in time quite yet, but they find out Jamie's alive.
Oh, because they look at the history.
Yes.
They go check the documentation.
They know Jamie was in prison. They find him in prison for 7 years, and then there's the story of this Dunbonnet with a guy with bright red hair, and I guess it's a real story, and that he wears a hat to hide his hair because Jamie's got blazing red hair.
Okay.
And they find out about that story, and they find there's a character in book 1 called Galis Duncan. They find out that she's a time traveler. She's a bad character.
She's a bad guy?
Yeah.
She's a bad guy in the 40s? Or the 60s now?
No, in the 60s, when they talk about her life in the 60s, she's exploring the idea of time traveling and trying to figure it out. And so she's got like notebooks, and then she ends up sacrificing her husband as part of her time travel because she thought it was required. Turns out it's not.
It was just convenient?
Yes.
Because she was done with him?
Right, and if you watch the show, her husband he's just like a drunk.
Okay.
And he's miserable.
Okay.
So you're like, really, I don't blame you. I don't remember the description of him in the books.
Right. So she goes back, book 5?
Claire? No, she goes back actually in book 3.
Okay.
So season 3 of the show just aired on Starz.
Right.
You can watch it on Starz, or you can boot your sister's account like I do.
I don't know. Nobody has Starz in my family, and that's fine.
But
I don't watch anything, so you should know.
But you can also get the DVDs from the library.
Oh, there you go. First couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But we're still talking books here. Because here's the thing. I mean, we can switch over.
No.
Talk to what's the first season of the TV show?
Each season is one book.
Okay, so there will at least be, unless the numbers don't sustain it, video wise, 8 seasons.
Well, as long as they sign them. When they renewed for season 3, they renewed also for season 4. So season 4 will be coming this summer of the TV show.
And do they age the actress?
Yeah.
Have they aged the actress?
Yeah. They're still beautiful 20 years later.
Well,
her and Sam Heughan, who is the actor for Jamie.
Okay.
He's a Scottish actor and model. They're both beautiful.
So they're good-looking folk. Mm-hmm. And then, so they have done... Okay. We've got the first book is entirely the 40s and then the 1650s or 1750s. Yeah. So that's season 1 of the TV show.
Right.
Season 2 of the TV show is what?
It goes into France and Scotland. It's all Scotland.
So then this is almost entirely Scotland.
Yeah.
Because
season 2 is
all Jamie?
Scotland and France.
Okay.
Because that's where they have to escape sort of Scotland because Jamie's wanted for being a traitor.
And at the end of book 2, so the end of season 2, is when she goes back to
the future.
1900s. Okay.
Yeah.
So, season 3 just ended, you say?
The TV series, yeah.
The TV series. Mm-hmm. So, season 3, she's in the future. She's in what is her present.
Yes. For half the TV season.
For half the TV season, 1949
60s.
to 1960s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
with
have like
Frank
little snippets
and
of
Brianna.
her story. Yeah.
Okay. And now, the first half of that is all done in the 40s, 50s, and 60s.
Right. But they also do some of Jamie's storyline, too, about how...
Now he's in... Oh, that's right, because he's in jail.
But they're not acting together. So their separate storylines are separate for the first half
parallel.
of the series.
Yeah. And then, second half of the series, she goes back to Scotland.
Yeah.
And they are reunited.
In the print shop.
In a print shop.
Jamie is a printer in Edinburgh.
Okay.
He does, was it silicious materials? Is that the word? And he also is a smuggler of booze.
He has a dirty bookstore?
Well, not quite.
And, no? Not a porn shop?
Not porn.
Excellent.
Just,
slightly salacious.
Yeah.
Oh, it's political.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's political, and then he also
That's
smuggles...
the cover business, is the print shop.
The print shop's cover business. The backstory is he smuggles booze.
Yeah.
Interesting.
With the whorehouse across the street, the World's End. Which, if you go into Scotland, Edinburgh, there is a place called the World's End. And so Madame Jean, I don't know French.
Right.
She's the woman in charge there.
Okay. And does he have a current love interest?
No.
No, he has been pining.
Because he couldn't.
He's just pining.
Yeah.
He's that kind of guy. He's a piner.
I mean, he has gotten laid a couple times.
Is what but
it wasn't for love.
It wasn't for love. It was just he needed a tune-up.
And one of those...
As I romantically put it.
Yeah.
And,
well, the second time, so the first one was with this character, Mary McNabb, when he was living in the Cape for 7 years. And he was about to turn himself in to the authorities or to the British police because his family and all of the people in Lollybroch needed money because there's like famine or whatever.
Right.
And so she's like, here, have a gift. And so she offered herself. She was a widow.
Oh, right. And she also needed the tune-up.
Yeah, she did.
So let's do this. And so he's gotten laid, and it's all working out. Now she's back in town.
Right.
Claire is.
Yeah.
And does she just move in?
Yeah, pretty much.
And then
he is surprised. He faints on the floor of his print shop, spills the ink on his pants, so it looks like he peed his pants. It's hilarious. It is the moment all the fans were waiting for in the TV show.
Right, for them to be reunited.
Right.
Right.
Droughtlander has ended.
And Droughtlander.
That's what they call
it. And Frank was now dead in the future.
Correct.
She brings Brianna with her?
No.
No.
Brianna stays because she's going to finish college.
Oh. I can't get off work, you guys. I know you're time traveling right now, but
I guess
I just got to have finals up in like a month and a half. I'll meet you in 1660. Be right back.
Well, in book 4, we find out that she does travel back because she finds a story in the newspaper that was printed that Claire and Jamie died in a house fire in North Carolina.
In North Carolina?
Yeah, that's where they live.
So they emigrate.
Well, yeah, because they had to chase little Ian, Jamie's nephew. It's a woven story of there's so many.
Sure.
Plots.
This is 1,000 plots.
1,000.
So that's book 4.
Yeah.
Is essentially the next, possibly 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. The next, she's living out her life now in Scotland.
No, they're still in the colonies.
Well, I mean, in the 1700s.
Are we talking the show or the books?
The books.
The books.
The books, because the show's season 3 is all that.
Well, in season 3, the book is called Voyager, the third book, and that's what season 3 is. And so one of the main storylines is that Jamie's nephew Ian gets kidnapped, trying to get money off a little island off the coast. Like they swim there, they needed money to pay Larry. It's a long story. We can get into later if we have time. But he gets kidnapped by pirates while he's at this little island, the Silkies Island. And so they have to chase. They find that it's a Portuguese ship, the Bruja. It's on its way to Jamaica.
Okay.
So guess where Jamie and Claire are going?
Jamaica. Mm-hmm. All right.
They have to chase down Ian because he's 14.
14. And
they let him swim. I mean, you can look out that window.
Yeah.
It was probably that far.
Far.
Yeah.
That's real far.
Yeah.
Okay. It was a different time. Was it ever you let 14-year-olds swim hundreds of miles back in the in the
cold
1700s?
Scottish water.
Why wouldn't you? And so, so you're up to date book-wise.
Correct.
There's another book coming.
Right.
They did not die in the fire. Another spoiler.
Right.
Because she knew about the fire.
Right.
So Brianna comes back and she says, "Hey, you guys, somebody put out that cigarette," and or whatever.
Right.
Because I don't want you to die.
Right. It turns out. So we're there's another podcast I listen to.
Yeah.
Do you want me to plug it? I'm not a member of it. It's called the Outlander podcast.
Of course.
And it's these two ladies in Northern California, Ginger and Summer. They're sisters. Mm-hmm, and so every TV series, they do a podcast for each episode.
Right.
And we're doing a read along right now.
Okay.
So every week is a new couple chapters of the story. So we're in book 4 for the read along in prep for season 4.
And there's something else on Goodreads that you said you were a member of.
The Vaginal Fantasy. That's
Fantasy.
Felicia Day's book group.
That's Felicia Day, who's very famous.
Yeah, and she does sci-fi and fantasy. So all the books are romance,
right?
But within
that genre.
Yeah, within sci-fi and fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, well, that's
and Bonnie Burton's on it. With
Bonnie Burton,
Veronica Belmont, Kyla Casby. I don't know.
Right. People on this boat are on that thing.
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
You're right.
Because here's the thing about pulp novels: we'll all read them.
Right.
Nobody has a leg to stand on when they say, "I don't read pulp novels," because if you're reading Helen McCarthy or Daniel Day-Lewis, sure, you're reading an old-timey pulp novel. Still a pulp novel,
right.
You guys. You could tell me that Jane Austen wasn't crap at the time, and it isn't. It's they all provide a service.
Right.
You're reading something. You know, as my dad never said. I wonder who did say this, because my father absolutely never talked about porn. Somebody used to say,
you don't want your dad or your mother to
right?
talk about
You're
porn
like,
to you.
essentially, he gets points for never talking about porn. Congratulations, Elliot Cation. So, but what somebody said to me once was just when people are reading Playboy,
right?
When Playboy used to be, the articles. I get it for the articles, is what they'd always say.
Always.
But the articles were actually very well written,
right?
Supposedly, and some good journalism happened there. And so, yeah, you were looking at noodly pictures of ladies, but you were also, whatever you're reading, good you're reading.
It's
you know how to
for
read.
Your vocabulary.
Right, it's helping out.
Right.
It's helping out
keep your reading level up.
Right. So now the other series that you've read that I've never read is that Janet Ivanovich business.
With Stephanie Plum as the protagonist there.
She's that is a private eye story.
She's
right?
a bounty hunter.
Oh, bounty hunter.
Yeah.
So
she's not good.
Not Kinsey
But
Milhone.
she's funny.
Oh, she is not good at her work?
No. Stephanie Plum's not a great bounty hunter.
Oh, she isn't good at her job.
Right. The Janet Ivanovich books are great when you're sitting on a beach. If you need something light.
Yeah.
And not really mentally intensive. These are some of the books.
Because they're super fun.
Yeah, they're fun.
They're just light mysteries.
Yeah.
Because the mysteries aren't intense.
Right.
The bad guys aren't super bad.
No. But
okay.
They're hard to get a hold of sometimes. And she has 2 love interests.
Oh, she's working it.
She's got Ranger, who is like a private security guy. And then she has like her mostly boyfriend. Oh, what's his name? Whatever. He's a police officer.
And she's got a cop and she's got a security officer.
Yeah.
All right.
And he was like paramilitary or something.
And where do the Janet Ivanovich books take place?
New Jersey.
In New Jersey?
Yeah.
Okay. So you can get a lot of information about Atlantic City.
Well, no, it's not.
Princeton?
No, it's a bad neighborhood. Or
Union City?
No, I don't know.
Weehawken?
It's been a while because I am like on her newest book, I'm like number 53 out of whatever on the wait list.
And so she's got 20 books, right?
She's on 24. And so I've been on this wait list for book 24 for probably 2 months.
Okay. So, but there are 23 books that you can lightly enjoy.
Yeah.
If you enjoy a light mystery novel.
Right. Oh, go ahead.
Please do.
Oh, I was going to say, she has this hamster. She's had it for the entire series. She does not age. Like, I think all the books are within technically a short period of time.
Okay.
Hamsters have a lifespan of 1 to 2 years. People, it lives in a soup can. So when I had a hamster for my son, guess where my hamster lived? In a soup can. My husband's like, really, Erica? And I'm like, yeah, I think it's funny.
Erica Burns, we have discussed pulp at length.
Yeah.
Some pulp novels have been discussed on this Joko cruise. And there's a million of them. Everyone, go out there, get yourself a book because they're fun. They're fun to read. And we live in troubled times. So check out, is what I say. Give yourself a couple of hours to just read about a hero. Erica Burns is at Blonde Chick 80. Blonde as an E. BLONDE. Chick. It'll be in the notes.
Because I'm blonde.
Because you're blonde. And you're not 80.
No, but that's the year I was born.
So, like all Twitter handles, they all have a history.
Right.
And especially with the new generation of people that were born in 1980. Because I was already sentient when I created my Twitter handle.
Well, it's like my work email. I work at a university. I'll say this quick. And my username it's just my first name. And they're like, how'd you do that? And I'm like, I'm old.
Right.
I've been on campus that long.
The RSS feed for the Dork Forest is literally /TDF.
Wow.
Which means this podcast has been around for 12 years.
Right.
So thank you so much for doing the Dork Forest.
Jackie.
Erica Burns, you guys, and Rangers, you know the rules out there. Take care of each other.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?